Are you ready to learn how to network, especially when you're going to a conference? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai. I run a virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to home assist from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, as I've said in my last two videos, basically for this month, I'm going to be doing a lot of vlog type videos and taking you on and hopefully still giving you guys a lot of value on the different things I'm doing. So in the first Sunday video, basically, I talked about how to set up your workspace working from home as I'm moving. The second one, which was last week, was basically how to start a company or a business in a weekend while I was in an event called Startup Weekend Bohol. And now I'm actually in Malaysia because we basically just attended a 4-day conference basically on how to become a nomad. So in those 4 days, I've basically put into practice a lot of things that I'll be walking you guys through of basically how to network, especially for your business, for yourself, when it comes to being in a conference or being in an event. So one of the first things that you want to do is you want to have just a good pitch about yourself, because just because you've been doing something for a while doesn't mean that a lot of people know it. So for example, for me, I was surprised with the amount of people who didn't know what a virtual assistant did. So for me, how I pitched myself was like, hey, I'm Lai, I run an outsourcing agency. And then when they asked more, like, oh, it's virtual assistants and it's more for, imagine an executive assistant, but all virtual, all online. So that's kind of how I readied how to pitch myself, because I knew that even though I am the expert when it comes to outsourcing and running a virtual assistant agency or hiring virtual assistants, a lot of people have no idea what that industry is. So you have to prepare your pitch first and foremost. The second thing is have a system for yourself when it comes to remembering people or taking pictures of their business cards. So for example, for me, I had, thankfully with WhatsApp having their own kind of, you can message yourself. Anytime I would meet someone and take their business card, I would take a picture of it and put in notes for myself later so I can add them later on LinkedIn or be able to email them or just add them to my own contact list. Now, this is something that I have been working on for a while. There's something called the friendship file for me where I log in people that I meet, especially the ones that are I had a really good connection with, basically, just more than acquaintances. So that's kind of one thing, is kind of create a system for yourself to capture people that you do meet. The next thing is meet people, and that's usually like easier said than done, especially for me as an introvert, is that approaching people is terrifying, especially when they look busy, they don't look welcoming. Luckily for me, I was with 3 other people, so it was kind of a group of us meeting people, but of course we got to the point where we had to kind of say hi, say hello to people separately. So that's kind of the first scary thing, honestly, of like approaching someone of like, hey, hi, my name is, Leanne, what do you do? Or what's your name? Where are you from? Or where do you call home? So that's kind of the first thing with networking, is you actually have to get yourself out there. You actually have to meet people, which then brings me to my second part of it, of making sure that you practice having a conversation, making sure that in your head you have questions and that you are able to kind of have at least 3 questions in your head of like, what would be the first few things that would be interesting for this person? They could be questions of like, hey, what's keeping you busy? Or, well, what brought you here to this event? More kind of generic questions. So then for the next step is becoming curious. So you want to have, like I said, just 3 questions that are more generic, and then you want to lean into the conversation and ask them specific questions based on what they just said. So for example, if someone says like, oh, hi, I'm from Colombia. I'm like, oh, what's that like? What's the weather like there? What's the lifestyle there? What's the culture there? So you're leaning into what they just answered because you want to stay curious. That's how you network. That's how you basically make friends, is you stay curious. And you want to find, commonalities or things that you might not be, you might have a misconception about, you might not know. Be okay and be comfortable with being wrong, with making a mistake, because it's gonna be okay. So lean into basically all of that part of the process of what it is that they do, where they're from, depending on the questions that you've asked or readied yourself to ask, and leaning into it, asking them a lot of questions. It's when you stay curious that you stay interested basically in networking, because basically it's less about you and more about them. So you don't have to impress them. It's more that you just really want to get to know that other person. And the next step for that is basically start building relationships as much as you can. For a lot of the time, we would go out and make sure that we had lunch with this person, dinner with this person, because then we're developing the relationship other than just the hi and hello. So if you could take the person out for maybe a coffee while you guys are, in between breaks for the event, saying hi to them when you see them again, just kind of strengthening that relationship would really help you when it comes to then later on seeing them in the street. You can really say hi, or adding them on LinkedIn, adding them on different social media channels. So then you have another way to reconnect with them later on. And again, they're not just a person you said hi to in a random conference you were in. And of course, finally, just keep practicing. Just keep saying hi to people, introducing yourself. Just kind of keep going and see, last part, see what value you can give to people. There's always going to be some sort of value that you don't even think that you can provide for people. For example, for me, a lot of people ask me questions about outsourcing, and that's something I love talking about. But then there's little things basically about my culture, coming from the Philippines, that they asked me about, like, hey, how do Filipinos do this? What is this like? So then for me, I am able to give them those insights, those values, just because I'm keeping in mind of remembering just who I am. I'm not really fully there to impress. I'm there to hopefully give value to someone, hopefully help someone out, or just meet people who could be possibly friends. And that is basically the step-by-step process of how to go ahead and start networking, especially when you are at events or at conferences. Now, the next couple of parts on this video is going to be just a short vlog. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, of my trip here in Kuala Lumpur so far, and a little bit of Singapore. So I hope you guys tune in for the end of that. Now, if you guys like this video, of course, make sure to hit the thumbs up, and then comment below, when was the last time you networked with someone, and when was the last time you made friends, basically. I would love to know. As an introvert, I would love to know. And of course, later on, once it pops up on the screen, check out the 2 playlists on how to work from home and how to visit from home, which will pop up somewhere here. And also hit subscribe if you still haven't yet, to make sure you don't miss any of my videos. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and with small steps matters, and I hope you enjoy this video.